right, so it's in. I'll spare you the cheesy time-lapse photography. I actually managed to get this in engine and trans attached in one piece, only because until I get a lift to work off when we get a full shop, I wasn't looking forward to trying to lift a 4L60E off the ground and mount it, or trying to slide a trans jack under there. It's not quite that high. So it's in. It's a standard aluminum motor mount adapters on this LS. I've got the motor mounts in the front holes right now, and as you can see, there's still a good bit of room. The motor mounts are about a ½ inch wider than the frame brackets, so I've got a little bit of wiggle room to slide the motor back and forth. If I need to come forward a little more, I have plenty of room clearance on the pan and obviously to the front. I can, but right now it's in the front holes on the motor mount bracket. So the motor mount adapter has room to slide the mounts back, forward and aft, to get it positioned right. I'm all the way in the front holes, and it looks like we're in. I had to remove the factory trans mount on the 4L60E because it's so wide it was actually clipping the front side of the cross member. I'm going to try to use the stock cross member and fab up a bracket on the front to hang the trans mount on. But we've got plenty of room. I don't know that I'm too concerned about header clearance, especially not this side. The other side, steering box with the Borgeson unit, might be an issue. We'll see how far this #1 pipe comes out. I think I'm going to try for some, I know the stock manifolds will work, but I think I'm going to try the late F body, either long tubes or even the factory stainless Y manifolds from like a later LS in an F body. Plenty of clearance on the firewall. I think we're pretty good. And we'll straighten out the rest of this wiring as we get the harness in. This was the original distributor feed. I'm going to use that potentially as a power lead, since I know it's powered in run and start. If I don't need it, then I'll clip it and wind it up, and wrap it up rather. And then we'll have to see what we do for what we've got for hood clearance. I have the factory truck manifold, which makes good power bottom end, but I think it's going to have a height issue, a clearance issue to the hood. And I really didn't want to cut the hood out or get a cowl hood. I really like the lines of the factory hood, so I may end up going with a car manifold to like an LS3 style to drop it down. This is a cathedral port head motor, so I've got some choices. But it's in, so now the fun stuff is just working on the details. Oh yeah, and I did want to point out that because the nose on this car is so long in front of the engine, there wasn't room to get the hoist in from the front. I would have liked to be able to drop, tip the trans in and slide the whole unit back through the tunnel and drop it in one piece, but because the nose is so long, it wouldn't have cleared the ram and the framework on the engine hoist, so I had to drop it in from the side. So basically I came in from the side with it, with the motor tipped far down on this kind of an angle, so I could drop the drive shaft, and I put the yoke in the back of the trans to keep her from dumping trans fluid all over the place, to drop that down into the tunnel and then start to scooch it down as it went. And the biggest challenge was getting down and pushing the forward wheels on the engine hoist towards the rear of the car to scooch the motor backwards. And it wasn't that big of a deal, but it would have been nice if I could have just rolled it into place. But again, with this much body work in front of the engine, it just wasn't feasible to get the hoist in there. If you have an overhead crane, it might make it easier, or a gantry crane in your shop, something like that, then you could certainly do it that way. But this took a bit of brute force, and laying on the ground with my feet up under the nose, pushing the uprights, pushing the leg extensions on the engine hoist towards the rear of the car to slide the motor backwards. But it's in there.